Good morning, girls. Assalamu alaikum. I'm waiting for you all to join. Good morning, Dana, Arij, Juri, Atif, Nada, Tala Mansoor. How are you all today?
Good, alhamdulillah. How are you, miss?
Alhamdulillah. I'm good too, thank you. Ladies, have you checked out the content for quiz 1? Bio quiz 1, it is scheduled for the coming next week, inshallah. And the topics would be 7.1 diet and 7.2 digestion. Clear? Right, we have 12 attendees, so let's start our topic. I will download the attendance at the end of the session as usual, inshallah. So we were doing the topic animal nutrition, and today, inshallah, we'll be starting with digestion. Okay, so let's start with the words from the Quran. Rabbi zidni ilma, or Rabbi inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a, or Allah increase us in beneficial knowledge, inshallah. So the objectives for the topic today would be to study about the process of digestion, in which we will be studying about the alimentary canal, which is our digestive system. So today the objectives would be to define ingestion as the taking of substances like the food and drink into the body through the mouth, and also to define digestion as the breakdown of large insoluble food molecules into small water-soluble molecules using mechanical and chemical processes, and to define absorption as movement of digested food molecules through the wall of the intestine into the blood. Okay, and under supplement, we are also going to study about mechanical digestion and chemical digestion. So define mechanical digestion as the breakdown of food into smaller pieces without chemical change to the food molecules, and to define chemical digestion as the breakdown of large insoluble molecules into small soluble molecules. So you have the definitions of all these 5 processes under digestion which take place in the alimentary canal, which we can call the objectives for today, inshallah. So let me take you further to the topic digestion, and let's also recap the contents we covered in the last lesson. Let me ask you questions. So in the last lesson, we were discussing about the importance of vitamins and minerals in our diet, isn't it? So who's going to tell me what is the deficiency disease caused if there is a deficiency of vitamin C in our diet? Ladies, what is the name of the deficiency disease of vitamin C?
Is it scurvy?
Scurvy, perfect. So what are the symptoms of scurvy? It's written on the screen.
Swollen gums.
And?
Severe joint pains.
Severe joint pains, particularly the legs, and?
Shortness of breath.
Shortness of breath. So can we relate the deficiency symptoms of vitamin C to iron deficiency anemia?
Yes.
Why?
Because
vitamin C, vitamin C absorbs iron.
Yes.
So if there's deficiency in vitamin C, then there is also deficiency in iron.
Iron, perfect. Thank you so much, sweetie. All right, so here you can see the symptoms, which is loosening of the teeth, the bleeding of the jaws, and the bleeding of the leaking of the blood from the blood vessels. All these would be the symptoms of scurvy. Then, what is the important source of vitamin D? Most important source of vitamin D, what is it?
The sunlight.
The sunlight, perfect. And apart from sunlight, from where do we get vitamin D? From the foods we eat? What are the other sources?
milk, eggs, mushrooms, and salmon.
Excellent. And is vitamin D a water-soluble vitamin or fat-soluble vitamin?
Fat soluble.
Fat soluble. Perfect. So what are the deficiency diseases of vitamin D caused in children?
Rickets.
Rickets, which leads to?
In which there's in which you can't walk properly and the bones are twisted.
So we can say malformation of the bones, or the bones are not formed properly, isn't it? Yes. So this is in children. So if there is a deficiency, or if the mother does not get enough calcium when the fetus is growing, then the children might be born with a calcium deficiency and with such diseases or conditions like rickets. So how does the symptoms of deficiency show in adults? What are the calcium deficiency diseases in adults? Ladies, quickly. One of the conditions, osteoarthritis, wherein there is swelling of the joints and the nerves do not function properly. And the other conditions are osteoporosis and osteomalacia, wherein the bones become very, very weak, that they are susceptible to fracture even after a minor fall. Right? So osteomalacia or osteoporosis is more, you can see, in women compared to men, especially the childbearing women. The women who have more children, they might get a calcium deficiency after an age of 35 to 40, because most of their calcium in the bones and from the teeth is used in the development of fetus when they are bearing a child. Okay, ladies, so this is about the vitamin D deficiency. Then we were discussing about the minerals iron and calcium. So the intake of iron is very, very important. We discussed the sources and why we need iron and calcium. Iron we need for, why do we need iron in our body?
To make hemoglobin.
Very good. And what happens if there's deficiency of iron in our body?
We get diagnosed with anemia.
Anemia. Perfect. And what happens in anemia?
In anemia, a patient gets dizzy and tired, much like vitamin C deficiency.
So those are the symptoms of anemia. So what happens actually is when you're anemic, the production of RBC, it gets impaired. So the tissues, they do not get enough oxygen delivered to them. So gradually, if you are anemic and if this condition persists, then you will have the iron deficiency, anemia, and all the symptoms like you look very pale, lethargic, tired, and your body functions, metabolic activities also will be impaired. Perfect. What about the calcium? Why do we need it in our body? Quickly, ladies. We have it on this slide displayed over here. Why do we need calcium in our body?
For teeth and bones.
For stronger bones and teeth, and also for blood clotting we need. And what is the deficiency disease of calcium? Can we say they are the same deficiency diseases of vitamin D?
Yes.
Yes. Our bones and teeth, they become very weak and brittle. And almost, if the calcium deficiency continues, it is also due to vitamin D, and this deficiency diseases would be the same for both calcium and vitamin D. All right, so this is the iron deficiency anemia, how it occurs, and what are the symptoms of anemia are listed over here as we discussed yesterday. And what about the fiber or roughage? What happens if we don't include enough fiber or roughage in our diet?
we get constipation, which may lead to bowel cancer.
Perfect. Who's going to tell me what is peristalsis?
Peristalsis is when is the contraction and when the muscles squeeze and relax, so that the food moves to the alimentary canal.
Perfect. So it is the contraction and relaxation of our stomach muscles, so that the food or in the small intestine, so that the food can be pushed forward due to the relaxation and the contraction of the muscles. Great. So constipation is generally described as having fewer than 3 bowel movements a week. So we need to include lots and lots of plant cells which have the cellulose in them. So lots of green leafy vegetables, fruits and vegetables both, and the bran or the husk or the outer layer of the cereals and pulses, and include lots of brown rice and brown bread and unpolished or unprocessed food in our diet. Okay, ladies, so this we discussed yesterday. So today we'll discuss about water and move on with the digestion. So we all know the water is very, very important. Even our human body is made up of water. 70% of the human body is made up of water. 2/3 of this water is in the cytoplasm of the cells, and the other third is in tissue fluid and blood plasma. So our blood and all the body fluids, the cytoplasm of the cells, all it is made up of water. So humans, they lose about 1.5 liters of water each day through urine, feces, exhaled air and sweat. Okay, so this much amount of water again needs to be replaced or compensated in our diet. We can include lots and lots of soups or broths which contain water in them, or fruits which are very high in the water content like watermelon or papaya or grapes, or we can just intake the more amount of water, fruit juices, etc., which are fresh and which are beneficial. So this amount of water which is being lost from our body, which is 1.5 liters, so we need to drink or intake more water than that. At least 2 to 2.5 liters of water should be taken by us per day. So from where can we take the water? From where does the body get this water? Not only from the water which we are drinking as water, but we can also drink it in the form of any juices, beverages like tea or coffee or lemon, or we can include it in the form of fresh fruits and vegetables or any kind of soups which we are having, etc. So it can be obtained as a drink in food, especially salad foods such as tomatoes and lettuce, and from metabolic processes as well. What do you mean? How do we get water from metabolic processes? If we think back to the equation of the aerobic respiration, so when we respire, water is one of the byproducts which is released, isn't it? So after the food is broken down, when it is converted to glucose, water is released as one of the byproducts. So we get a certain amount of water even after the aerobic respiration or after the respiration takes place in our body. Then water is very important, and if we lose water from our body, it might lead to unconsciousness and even death. So only if we lose 5% of the body's water, it can lead to unconsciousness, and if we lose 10%, it would be fatal. We cannot survive without water for more than a day. You can observe it when we are fasting during Ramadan. We feel so thirsty by the end of the day, isn't it? Though we are not hungry, but we need water first, especially if the day is very, very hot, isn't it? So water is very, very important. Though we can survive without food for maybe 48 hours for 3 days, but we cannot survive without water for more than you can say 18 to 20 hours. Our body needs water. It is very, very essential for our body functions, for our metabolic activities, and also for the functioning of our brain. So you take in water when you drink or eat, and you could go without food for a number of weeks, but you would die in a few days without water. Water is needed for chemical reactions to take place in solution, and the blood transports substances dissolved in water. And waste chemicals are passed out of our bodies in solution in the urine, and water in our sweat cools us down. Okay, so these are the various functions of water in our body. So it is important that your intake of water each day equals your loss of water in urine, feces, sweat, and breath. Okay, ladies, so drink lots and lots of water, because especially in over here, because we are always in air conditions, we might not feel thirsty, but you should always keep a water bottle handy and always keep on sipping water, because it is very, very important for you to avoid kidney stones, which is a major problem, or we can say complaint in the ladies over here. Okay, for the constipation, for good bowel movements, for very good skin, for your overall health, you need to drink lots and lots of water. Clear? Any questions so far about water before we move on to digestion? Ladies, any doubts or questions? Is it clear so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. What do we have in the chat here? Wow, I believe it's Arij Fatima has given the answers for all the questions. Thank you so much, Arij. Yes, of course, these are the symptoms of rickets and scurvy. Thank you so much. All right, so let's start the digestion, which is chapter 7.2 from your textbook. If you're following the textbook, we are on page number 78. Okay, so digestion, where does it take place in our body? Ladies?
The abdomen.
The abdomen. Okay, so abdomen is part of the digestive system. What is the other name for the digestive system in our body?
Stomach.
Stomach is also part of the digestive system. What is this entire digestive system known as?
The alimentary canal.
Alimentary canal. Perfect. So alimentary canal is the place where the entire process of digestion takes place. It starts with the mouth and ends with the rectum and the anus. Okay, so we can otherwise call it the digestive system in our body, as you can see in the picture here. Okay, so what are the organs? The various organs of the alimentary canal or the digestive system are mouth, followed by the esophagus, stomach, and also the enzymes from the liver and pancreas also help in the process of digestion. So liver and pancreas are also part of the alimentary canal. And there is the small intestine and large intestine ending with rectum and anus. So this is the alimentary canal wherein the main process of digestion takes place. So the living things, they obtain food molecules from the environment, meaning we eat the food from our surroundings, be it plants or animals. The processes of nutrition convert the food molecules into a form that can be used by the organism. So this food which we eat, it needs to be broken down into smaller pieces, and these food molecules, they need to be broken down in a form which can be absorbed easily by the body. So all these nutrients which are present in our food, like carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, so they need to be broken down and converted to a form wherein they can be easily absorbed by our bloodstream, so that our body can benefit from these nutrients, isn't it? So in humans and many other mammals or animals, these processes take place in the alimentary canal, otherwise known as the gut or the digestive system. The alimentary canal is a specialized tube running from the front of the animal, which is starting at its mouth, to the rear ending at its anus. Okay, so this maybe it's humans or any animals, the alimentary canal starts with the mouth and ends with the anus. The alimentary canal is highly specialized in humans. Of course, the digestive system which we have is highly specialized compared to other organisms or animals. The food molecules are converted to a usable form in a clear sequence, with each part of the gut being adapted to carry out particular functions. Okay, so as we just checked out, each and every part, starting from the mouth to the esophagus, to the stomach, to the small intestine, the large intestine, each and every organ of the digestive system has its specific function. Okay, for example, this digestion starts at the mouth. What does it mean? So when we eat food, the first thing when we put it in our mouth is what does our teeth and tongue do? They help in grinding the food, isn't it? When we are chewing the food, we are breaking down the food into smaller pieces so that it can be easily swallowed when we are swallowing it, and it passes easily through the esophagus because it mixes with saliva in our mouth, right? So this saliva, it contains an enzyme known as salivary amylase, which helps in the digestion of carbohydrates, only carbohydrates. Okay, so we can say the carbohydrate digestion starts in our mouth itself when the food mixes with our saliva. Okay, later that food passes through the esophagus and reaches the stomach. So in the stomach, the food, not only the chemical digestion takes place, takes place with the help of the enzymes like pepsin, which are released in the stomach, but also the stomach muscles, they help in churning the food, meaning they, as we grind something in a grinder, so the food is churned with the help of the muscular action of the stomach. It mixes with the hydrochloric acid with the stomach and turns into a ball known as chyme. Okay, so when we're discussing about the digestion, we can talk about mechanical digestion, meaning which happens with the help of teeth and tongue in our mouth when we are breaking down the food only, but no chemicals are involved like enzymes. And also in the stomach, wherein the stomach muscles, they help in churning the food apart from the chemical digestion. Okay, so mechanical is something which involves no enzymes. It happens physically, the physical breakdown of food, whereas chemical digestion is the breakdown of the food with the help of various enzymes and acids in our alimentary canal. Okay, ladies, so food is broken up physically by the action of the teeth in the mouth, and in the alimentary canal chemically as by the action of enzymes, and converted into a substance which is suitable for absorption and assimilation into the body. So here we can see the various things which take place during the process of digestion. I want you all to read all these one by one and explain it to me. Okay, starting with the box over here, which is about digestion. Who's going to read about this and explain the pink box first? Are you raising your hands? Yeah, who's going to start? Ladies, please raise your hands. Do you want me to pick out? Jumana, great. Go ahead, Jumana. Start with digestion.
Digestion is the breakdown of large insoluble food molecules into small water-soluble molecules using mechanical and chemical processes. Do I continue?
Yes. So this digestion, or we can say the nutrition which we get by eating the food, is a sequence of few processes which take place over here, starting with ingestion, then digestion, then absorption and ingestion. We can say these are the four processes which take place once we eat the food so that we can get the nutrition from the food, right? Thank you so much, Jumana. So what do you understand by digestion? When you read out the definition over here, how could you explain it?
That digestion is the process of breaking down that can't be dissolved by the saliva and turning them into small ones, so small soluble ones, using the mechanical and chemical energy processes, I mean.
Perfect. Mechanical and chemical processes, both. Thank you so much, Jumana. Who's going to read and explain about ingestion here? Ladies?
Sarah raised her hand.
Sarah, go ahead, Sarah.
Nutrition begins when food and drink is taken into the body through the mouth. Ingestion is when you put a food molecule, or when you put a drink or eat something. That's ingestion.
Perfect. So when you're eating something, that is ingestion. Perfect. Who's going to explain about mechanical digestion? Dua Mustafa. Okay, Tala Mansur, go ahead.
The teeth and tongue break the food into small pieces without chemical change to the food molecules, mechanical digestion.
Mm-hmm.
Should I explain?
Yes, please.
Mechanical digestion happens when you eat food, but the food is not affected with chemicals yet.
Mm-hmm. So where do you think it takes place?
In the teeth and tongue.
In the mouth. Any other place apart from the mouth? According to you?
Can you repeat the question, Miss? I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, I said any other place in the alimentary canal where the mechanical digestion might take place apart from the teeth and the tongue and the mouth? Where in the mechanical or the physical digestion takes place?
I don't think so.
Okay, so as I told you, maybe in the stomach, when the stomach muscles, they churn the food and make it into a soft ball. So mechanical digestion takes place in two places, in the mouth and also in the stomach. All right, thank you so much, Tala. Who's going to read and explain about chemical digestion from here? Yeah. Dua Mustafa, can you do it? Lamar. Yeah, Lamar, go ahead.
Enzymes break down large insoluble molecules in the food to small water-soluble molecules. Chemical digestion.
Mm-hmm.
So this is when the breakdown of food happens.
Mm-hmm. With the help of
The enzymes.
enzymes, perfect. So enzymes are released in the mouth, in the stomach, and also the enzymes released by the pancreas and the liver are mixed up with the food. They act upon the various nutrients in the food, and in the small intestine the food is finally absorbed. Okay, so the chemical digestion is a digestion of the food which happens with the help of chemicals like enzymes. Thank you so much. Who's going to talk about absorption? Raise your hands quickly, or I might pick out. Arish Fatma, is your mic working? Or Arish Allah? No? Sidra? Dua Mustafa, go ahead.
Digested food is moved into the cells of the body, where they become part of the cells.
Absorption. Dua Mustafa, absorption.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Small digested food molecules and ions cross the wall of the intestine into the bloodstream or lymph.
Yeah. So where does it take place? Absorption, Dua?
In the bloodstream.
In the bloodstream. Into the bloodstream, the nutrients are absorbed, yes. But in which part of the digestive system does it happen?
The small intestine.
Small intestine, perfect. So in the small intestine, what happens? These digested food molecules and ions, they cross the wall of the intestine, and throughout the entire length of the small intestine, these nutrients are absorbed into the bloodstream. Thank you so much, Dua. Who's going to explain about assimilation quickly, ladies? Rawasan, is your mic working? Jonah Ali, could you explain, Jonah? Lamir, Mariam, both the Mariams, and Nada. Nada Saif, could you please explain assimilation? Nada? Okay, Rawasan, if your mic is working, please explain assimilation. Ladies, quickly, we are
Is
wasting
that
time.
what it's called when the cells repair themselves?
Rawasan, read out from here first. Rawasan?
Teacher, it seems like she's speaking, but her voice isn't audible.
Yeah, maybe there's a problem with her mic. Rawasan, dear, we can't hear you, sweetie. You may write down in the chat whatever you want to say, okay? But I want someone to read it out and explain here. So who wants to do it? Rital, Khalid, Ritaj? Quickly, ladies. No one wants to do it. Shall I give a chance to Jumana again? But you need to be interactive, all of you. You need to take part. When I'm asking you something, you need to do it and explain it. You just can't keep quiet. Yeah, Jumana, go ahead.
Digested food is moved into the cells of the body. They become part of the cells and are used for energy, growth, and repair. Assimilation.
Yes. So assimilation finally takes place in which organs? In the small intestine, the absorption takes place and
Where the food that has been digested moves to the cells of the body so they can repair it or use it for energy or growth.
perfect. So whatever nutrients are being absorbed into the bloodstream from the small intestine, so these molecules, they move into the cells of the body, and wherever the body needs these food molecules, or meaning the energy, so these are converted into energy and used up by the body, and also these food molecules are used for growth and repair, which comes under assimilation. Thank you. Dua, can you please explain about digestion?
Dietary fiber and other indigestible substances pass out through the anus. Digestion.
Perfect. So finally, the food passes through the large intestine. So mostly it is the waste now. So in the large intestine, from this digestive food from which the nutrients have been absorbed already. So even the water, it is absorbed in the large intestine. And this food now, with the help of the dietary fiber which is present, which makes this waste very smooth and to pass easily. So it passes, so that is why the mention of dietary fiber is here. Dietary fiber and other indigestible substances which our body couldn't digest, or the waste has been produced, passes out through the anus, which process is known as digestion. And if we are talking about defecation, some excretory materials are added to the digested substances and expelled from the body as feces during defecation. Okay, so the ammonia and all the other substances which are released as waste by the process of respiration or digestion, they all reach the anus and then they are excreted out of the body as feces during defecation. Defecation meaning removal of feces from our body. Okay, so these are the various steps which take place in the process of digestion, starting from ingestion, then mechanical digestion, then chemical digestion takes place, then after digestion the nutrients are absorbed, then these nutrients which are absorbed are assimilated in our body, and finally the waste is removed from the body in the form of ingestion and defecation. Clear, ladies? Any questions so far? Any questions?
No, miss.
All right, so can you please read out the definitions of all these major processes now from the slide here?
Ingestion is the taking of substances such as food and drink into the body through mechanical digestion. Is the breakdown of food into smaller pieces without chemical change to the food molecules. Chemical digestion is the breakdown of large insoluble molecules into small soluble molecules. Absorption is the movement of small food molecules and ions through the wall of the intestine into the blood. Assimilation, the movement of digested food molecules of the body. They are used, becoming part of the cell. Digestion is the passing out of food that has not been digested or absorbed as feces through the anus.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So here you can see the various processes taking place in the various parts of the alimentary canal. The ingestion of the food happens in the mouth. Then the digestion takes place, you can say, in the stomach and also in the small intestine. The storage, cause they are saying storage in the stomach because the food remains in the stomach for a longer period of time, maybe for 3 to 4 hours, where the food is acted upon both mechanically and physically in the stomach, and it mixes with the hydrochloric acid and the pepsin, and it remains in the stomach for a certain period of time. So that is why they are saying storage here. Then absorption takes place in the small intestine, and finally the digestion takes place through the anus. So this is how it takes place in the body. So let's talk about mechanical digestion. As you can see, the stomach muscles which are churning here. Okay, and when you were reading the definition of mechanical digestion, I told you not only the mechanical digestion takes place in the mouth, but it also takes place in the stomach. Okay, so often the food an animal eats is in quite large pieces. Maybe we are eating meat or chicken or food or fruits or vegetables, which we just gulp in large pieces. So they need to be broken down into smaller pieces in our mouth with the help of the tongue and the teeth, so that we can swallow it easily. Can we just swallow pieces of apples or chicken or meat without chewing them? No, we cannot. We need to chew them first, isn't it? So these pieces of food need to be broken up by teeth and by churning movements of the alimentary canal. So this is called mechanical digestion. Once pieces of food have been ground up, the large molecules present are then broken down into small. So it is very, very important for the mechanical digestion also to take place, as important as the chemical digestion is. So mechanical digestion starts in the mouth, where chewing breaks down food into smaller pieces that can be swallowed, and muscular contractions of the stomach continue this process. Okay, so not only the tongue and the teeth help in the mechanical digestion, but also the muscular contractions of the stomach, as you can see over here, help in the churning of the food. Clear, ladies? So this is about mechanical digestion. Now coming to the chemical digestion, it is the breakdown of the large insoluble food molecules into smaller soluble molecules by the action of the enzymes. So wherever the enzymes are involved, you will call such type of a digestion as chemical digestion. This occurs in the mouth, stomach, and also in the small intestine. So where are the places where the chemical digestion takes place? As I told you, in mouth, only the digestion of the carbohydrate starts with the help of the salivary amylase, which is an enzyme present in the saliva. So we can consider the mouth also as a place wherein the chemical digestion starts. Then of course the stomach, in which the pepsin and various other enzymes, they mix with the food and break down the food. And also the chemical digestion takes place in the small intestine, wherein the food mixes with the pancreatic juice and the bile juice from the liver and the pancreas. Okay, so mechanical digestion gives a larger surface area for the enzymes to work on. So once the food is broken down mechanically, it helps the chemical digestion to take place, because the enzymes can work more readily when the food has been broken down by the mechanical digestion. So the three types of enzymes in the alimentary canal are proteases, carbohydrases, and lipases. So as the name suggests, proteases are the enzymes which act on proteins and which help in the breakdown of proteins into. What are the proteins broken down into, ladies? We studied this already under our topic enzymes. What happens to the proteins once they are broken down? They are broken down to amino acids, isn't it? Yeah. So proteases are the enzymes which break down the proteins into amino acids, which can be readily absorbed by the body. Similarly, carbohydrases are the enzymes which break down the carbohydrates into sugars, which can be absorbed by the bloodstream. And lipases are the enzymes which act on fats or lipids in our body and break them down into glycerol and fatty acids, which can be absorbed and used up by the body. So each type of food molecule needs a specific enzyme because they have different shapes. So we studied about this already under our topic enzymes, that each specific enzyme can work only on a specific substrate. Similarly, specific enzymes need to break down these types of the various nutrients which we intake in our body. All right, ladies, so the time is up. We'll discuss about the next of the process of digestion in our next lesson, inshallah. Let me give you the homework. Give me a moment, please. I believe you completed all the questions for chapter 7.1, which is diet. Most of them have sent them to me. If not, please complete them. So today the homework would be page number 80. Okay, and then question 7.7 and 7.8. Okay, so please do the question 7.7 and 7.8 on page number 80. So this would be your homework for today. All right, ladies, any questions?
No, miss, thank you.
Do you want me to send a screenshot of this on your